So our next section is finance costs. So we'll look at finance costs on the land acquisition. So there are two components to any kind of a development. One is when you settle on the land, that has to be funded, and then when you're ready for construction, then that has to be funded. Exception is where you bought a piece of land that already has a development approval on it. It has already gone through the zoning or your council process to get town planning approval. And once you've got that, you don't have to allow for anything over here. You can just mark it zero, because then you're only looking at the construction finance. But in this example, I've got to show you each and every component. So let's look at the finance cost on land acquisition. So we've got land acquisition or loan borrowings. So when you go to your lender and say, look, I've got to settle on this block of land, which is 1.2 mil. What can you borrow me? So the bank's going to say, look, I can borrow you 70% LVR, the loan to value ratio or whatever. You select 70% in there, and the interest rate for you in that would be about 4% per annum, or 3% per annum, or 7% per annum, whatever that is. Whoever you go to does not matter. But this lets you calculate interest on your holding period as well. Then we've got our loan setup costs. So if you know a fixed amount, you can select a fixed amount right here. But if you don't, it is usually a percentage of the total amount that you're going to borrow. I think in US it's known as points, and it is calculated as a percentage of the total amount that you will borrow. So if you have another way of calculating it, you can put in a value right here yourself, or you can put in a percentage. So in this scenario, we put in a percentage, and we know that the holding interest before construction is 7. So it's 7, but I changed this to 8. So I want to make sure that I allow for interest costs for about 8 months. So we'll allow for 8 months on the land holding interest.